Good morning, UFT! Are we ready to get some work done today? Are we ready to get that work done today? Let's give it up for Vanessa Wilson, our phenomenal political director. Give it up. Let's also, I see he has now joined us. Let's give it up for the Vice President of Career and Technical Education, Mr. Leo Gordon. How was the bus ride? It's nice, you know. Listen, you all know this. I remember years and years I've been doing this. I always remember as a chapter leader, they were like, oh, you guys got the day off, you go to Albany. I'm like, yeah, it's great sitting on a bus for 6 hours. You should try it. Because that's what you're doing. You are representing and you're doing the work. You're going above and beyond. Don't let anyone ever try to play that game with you. You are going above and beyond. All right? Let's hear it for you. That's what you are doing. Do we have any parents in the house today? See, folks, we got the parents came up with us. These are CEC parents. Give it to them. Give them a round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's what we do. It's us, union members and parents. That's community working together. And we know we have a lot of challenges. And I'm going to tell you, I was doing a couple of meetings already this morning. I want to some of the things you're going to face. They're going to talk to you about the federal government. And that's a legitimate conversation. We don't know. We don't know. And we're all going to try to do the best we can. And this is what you need to tell them. We have a plan as a union. We've been planning with other unions, with other states since July for this contingency. We have a plan. But that doesn't stop you from doing your work that you have to do in this budget this year on behalf of our schools. So we're going to make sure, because this is what we are doing, we are going to visit every single congressional person in the state of New York. We're going to visit every one of them. And you're going to remind them, we don't care what party they're in, if they're independent, we don't care. Don't care, don't matter, because they all go to the local public school and cut that ribbon. They all take the picture at the kindergarten play. They all tell the parents how wonderful they all are and they love the school. And we have to remind them all, that's what you have been elected to protect and garner the federal government to do what its responsibilities are. Last week, our federal government actually started, I know you all heard about the executive order to get rid of USDOE, and then they realized they couldn't do that, so they didn't do their homework. But what are the first two things they start talking about? IDEA, and thank God I don't have to explain that here. I have to keep explaining on TV. That means students with disabilities. What the hell are they talking about? We need to dismantle the funding for IDEA. So the first thing that this administration is doing is picking on special needs kids? We ain't gonna let that happen. We ain't gonna let that happen. And then the next thing is, that Title I costs a lot. Well, you should have done something first with all your economic policies so we don't have millions of children in utter poverty. And then you leave it to us to figure it out. That is a law that's the law in this country, that the federal government has a program that says to school districts and states, it is unfair, the challenge that you face educating children in utter poverty, and it is our responsibility to try to help you overcome those challenges. So when an administration comes out of the gate and talks about, I'm getting rid of USDOE and IDEA costs too much and that Title I costs too much, so you want to get rid of an agency, which you have to take a vote. They forgot about that vote. And then you want to pick on children with special needs and our children who are facing the challenges of poverty. And then you're going to blame the teachers, because that's what you always do. You're going to blame the school staff. You're going to hear from people in this state. You might hear it today. Maybe they'll have the audacity to say it to you. You're going to hear about, well, our graduation rate isn't as high as other states. Yeah, because we're the only state that didn't drop our standards in 2003 and 2004. We kept our standards. We could become Alabama, third grade reading level, high school diploma, here you go. That's literally what happened, folks. But we chose that where there is integrity to what we do each and every day. There is integrity to the profession that we have all dedicated our lives to. And I want you to talk to them about the fact that we're having a shortage in all of our titles. All of our titles who work at the schools. So when we say fix Tier 6, it's not just about the issues that we're having and the unfairness of the age of 63 and all the rest of that. It's also about you're hurting the schools and the school systems of New York City and New York State. Our pension funds are phenomenal. You could ask our trustees. You should give them a big round of applause for that. They are phenomenal. People try to play games with them all the time. Lies and lies and more lies. They do a great job. They know what they have to do. They're independent. They tell everyone. It doesn't matter who they are. They tell me no. They'll tell a mayor no. They'll tell other members no. They'll tell Jesus no if they think he's wrong. It don't matter to them. They say this is our job and this is what we do. But there's something wrong. There's something wrong when you tell a college graduate who wants to dedicate their life to helping children that they're going to be forced to stay in their job till the age of 63. There's something very wrong, and it's hurting us. So as we go forward now today, it's going to be the usual. Some of you have to get up and leave to do appointments. Everyone knows, you know what your responsibilities are. We believe in letting teachers teach. We believe in letting lobbyists lobby. All right? So that means when you know if you got to go. But we're going to have a bunch of visitors coming in and out today, and we're going to greet them the good old UFT way, right? We're going to give them a big round of applause, and then we're going to tell them, make sure you get done what we need to get done. Because that's what today is about. So there's over 1,000 of you in this room today. So that means that you are all, the 1,000 people in this room are responsible for 132,000 other people. So no pressure. You going to get it done? Are you going to get it done? Are you going to make sure? Don't be afraid of the federal government. You tell those elected officials, don't be afraid of the federal government. We are all in this together. We got each other's back. You going to let them know that? We got each other's back. We're not going to let, a bully picks a fight with a student with disability. You're picking a fight with kids because they're poor. We're not going to let that happen, are we? No. Are we going to let that happen? No. And just got to let them know that we're not going to let them happen. Because that's how this works. It is a democracy that we live in. And yes, there are people, we understand elections have consequences, but this is a democracy. And we're going to make sure that we do everything in our power, and we will win, because in the end, the future is the work of all of us, because we are teaching the future. We are educating the future, and we are here caring for the future. So, let's give ourselves a round of applause. And let me check one thing. Okay, so this is someone who has been there, who's fulfilled every promise that we have asked her to fulfill. Every promise she has made publicly in terms of education, she has done. And she continues to say, I'm not going to get involved with all the silliness or the craziness. I'm going to do what I think needs to be done, because that's what's really important. I know everybody likes all the other stuff, but she is determined and she stays focused at all times. You know, this year you're going to talk about your cell phone ban. That's a hot topic up here. You all know what we want. You all know our position. You know, make sure everybody understands that when you're lobbying. The foundation aid is a big deal. You have to say, we got to get that done, because foundation aid is directly tied to our class size. And we're about to make an announcement in 2 weeks for all the schools who put in and all the schools whose applications have been accepted, that they're getting their money. Because when we clarified that law last year, when we clarified the class size law, we finally got the city to stop playing games with it. And when we meet with them, they are very clear. They're like, we know. We have no choice. We now have to do this. And we would not be here. I would not be able to say that here this year if it wasn't for the work of a lot of elected officials, but mostly for the leadership of this one person. And that is our governor. Our governor, Kathy Hochul, is our friend, and she is clearly a very large supporter of public school education across this state. So I want everyone to give her a big round of applause and give her a cheer and stand strong and keep going, and we got you. We got you, we got you. All right, everybody give it a cheer. Who are we? Who are we? Who are we? Kathy Hochul.
Mike's a little fired up today, wouldn't you say? Well, that's the kind of fire in the belly we need to take on the fights that are facing us all the way from Washington. Am I right about that? We have the leader that this moment calls for. So I thank him for everything he has done for us. Extraordinary. And not just caring about the people he represents in the city of New York. What I have seen Mike Mulgrew do is take his vision all across the state. And what he has done, even in a place called Central New York, Syracuse, trying to focus on making sure that this micron opportunity, the tens of thousands of good-paying jobs that are coming, that he makes sure that our teachers are prepared to teach our children for those opportunities. So, Mike, I thank you for your focus on that and workforce development, all the other initiatives you've taken on, because we need a fighter. Thank you, Mike. Melinda Person. Oh, you want her on your side, too. She is amazing. She is a pit bull when she gets an idea and she wants to get it done. And that's why we will have a cell phone ban, a bell-to-bell ban, so you can finally teach your kids without the distractions. You'll finally create that bond that's been neglected for years. We will make them emerge better as fully functioning adults because they won't be so used to staring at their hand instead of talking to the students and getting relationships with their teachers. So, Melinda, let's give you a round of applause as well. Head of our United Teachers. Comptroller Tom DiNapoli is here. Tom DiNapoli, thank you for all you've done for us and our teachers in particular. We're grateful. And our elected officials, I see John Liu and Shelley Mayer here as well. You'll be hearing from them, I believe. But let me just give you a couple top lines, because you have to get out there and work. You didn't come here to just have breakfast and hang out and have a nice gathering, right? You're here to work, right? Okay. So when you're done here, I heard Mike tell you, you're going to congressional offices too, right? Because that's where the biggest fight is right now. Because I have supported you. You don't need to lobby me. I'm surrounded by teachers in my own household. I mean, you should see Christmas dinner at my house. I hear everything about the teachers from all my family members. And I so believe in what you do. And when you think about it, you're the gatekeepers, the guardians to the future for all of our kids. You show them the path. You give them confidence. And also you teach them to be fighters and stand up for themselves. In this time, we need all of our parents, our teachers, and indeed our students to start showing up. Let them understand about civic engagement. Means you do go to these offices, that you do participate in rallies. And the more children we see out there, the bigger difference I believe you'll have. Because how do you say no to a child with disabilities? How do you say no to a child who needs Title I money because they're growing up in a poor area, whether it's rural or urban? How do you say no to someone who needs a Pell Grant because they want that ticket to a better opportunity, just like all my family members benefit? How do you say no to how do you cut the Department of Education and say our kids don't matter? You cannot say that here and get away with it in the state of New York. So we're going to take it to the streets, we're going to take it to congressional office and make them look in the eyes of our kids and tell them they're going to go back to Washington and vote against them. I dare them that they cannot do it, and you're going to hold them accountable. So that's the fight we're in, right, Mike? So that's Washington. Let's talk about something better. New York. Right? I mean, aren't you glad you're a New Yorker these days, right? You know, there's a famous football coach in the Buffalo Bills. Anybody Buffalo Bills fans? All right. Or converts, okay? We still love the Giants and the Jets. Marv Levy used to say, where would you rather be than right here, right now? And I feel the same thing about New York State. This is the epicenter of these fights. And we'll take them on with Washington. But here, we're showing how we lead. We make investments. We unleashed years of stagnation and inaction when it came to foundation aid because we need to get that money out to our schools and our kids. We got it done. We also got the Tier 1 reforms that they talked about for years, and no one was able to say, I value our teachers. I want them to have better benefits and better opportunities, so we changed Tier 1. We also said this. I want to make sure that you are respected, that people understand the value of your profession. So I stand up and defend this profession every day of the week, and I'm proud to do so. We also said, you know what? There's kids in parts of our state who are coming to school with their tummies growling, right? And you hear it. And some of you are bringing in food yourselves. You're taking care of these babies and little kids. And I said, no more. This is a great state, and we're not going to let that interfere with our children's ability to learn. We're a more compassionate state than that. That's why in this year's budget, I am saying that the state of New York will pick up the cost of every single child's school breakfast and lunch so they can start to learn, and it gives their parents a break. $1,600 less a year per child that a parent has to spend on either packing up the lunches every day, and I did that for years. I'm New York's first mom governor. I'd be so happy not to worry about breakfast or lunch for my kids. So we're giving time back to busy parents as well, but also it's part of our affordability agenda. We're putting money back in families' pockets so they can afford to live here and have the quality of life they deserve. I'm talking about nearly $5,000 back in the pockets of all of you as well. If you have kids under the age of 4, it's $1,000. School-age kids, it's $500. Inflation rebate. We collected $3 billion more in sales tax because all of you and everyone in the state had to pay more because of inflation. Now, that's not going to be here next year or the year after, so you can't get long-term expenditures. But I'm saying, put it back in people's pockets, right? That's where it came out of. $500 means something to a family. And then we'll have a middle-class tax cut, and we just keep rolling. Up to $5,000 per family, we can get this through. So I need your support, too, your support for our budget, because you're not just teachers, you're also New York residents. You're homeowners, you're property owners, you're supporters of your communities, you live in apartments, you're trying to pay your own bills, right? It's not that easy. It's not that easy. So this is for all of you as well. So you can count on me. I'll be your partner. I have to tell you, I like nothing more than a fight. Mike and I are Irish. It's kind of in our blood, right? Right? It's what we do. So I am here to fight for you, to fight for the children that are looking to you as their leaders, their moral models, their inspiration, and thank every one of you from the bottom of my heart for what you do every single day. Thank you very much, teachers.
Let's hear it again for our governor.